Every film that I watch, I try to walk into with a positive, constructive perspective because I don't really want to miss anything I do not like. But there are just some times when these films just defy such criticism. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it for one tells me something that I've forgotten or lost about film, or just invents something new and different. While you could make arguments for both sides, I would go with telling something about the forgotten part. The movie is shown on Netflix as a nice romance, but I probably didn't think much of it because of Marley and Me or something stupid like that. And the critics loved it, but they also love Wonder Woman, so I'm good with that. But like this movie feels like something Woody Allen couldn't have made like in the Annie Hall and Manhattan era. But there's this aspect that I'm having trouble putting my finger on. That aspect makes it feel like that this movie really couldn't have been made in the 70s and 80s, you know? I think it's because it takes place in a time that's so far away from the desired 1920s. I think it's because I think it would be different if a Woody Allen character was trying to go back to the 1920s and the 70s. It would be different then than if it came out in 2011. I don't think it would necessarily be a bad movie, but I just think it would make a difference. And I feel that this movie came out in sort of a prime to bring back the nostalgia that Woody Allen seems to be so acquainted with. Unfortunately, this movie has been pretty much swept under the radar. Unfortunately, this movie has been pretty much swept under the radar and treated like a movie that was critically acclaimed and then just left it. So basically, Shiva Baby. Either way, it deserves more. Like, it grossed really well, but like, you're not really gonna see many people praising this movie anymore. I guess my point is that this movie got treated differently than it deserves. It was brought into people's world like a piece of media with a 15 seconds of fame type deal, but I feel that this happened because, well, for one, Woody Allen isn't the nicest guy on the planet who has done some bad things. It's to me that the marketing was kind of trash. I mean, this trailer is atrocious. I'll link it in the description, but it's really, really bad. Also, it got loaded with Oscar noms, but like with these runner-ups, it really had no chance, but I digress. While I do not like Woody Allen as a person, I don't think we should underestimate his movies. I know, it sounds like I'm defending a bad person, but this movie is really, really good, and I think it deserves more than 15 seconds of fame. Alright, let's start talking about the actual movie. Took me long enough. This movie is to me like Woody Allen trying to put his foot back in the door after some bad stuff happened. I will say he's a terrible person who should be in prison, but he's kind of talented and made a damn good movie. And I feel kind of disgusting saying that because of the things he's done, but the movie is so mesmerizing in its approach to story. It's like telling you that fairy tales are still cool, but with the subtle fact that this dude might actually have some bad issues. If you don't know anything about this movie and just walked into this review blind, I can tell you the plot. So this guy named Gil is an aspiring writer getting married to one of the plastics from, that movie. And they're going to Paris while on vacation. But the thing is that when he goes on a walk before bed to clear his head and look for things to write about, he gets picked up in a carriage and taken to some place in the film. He finds out it's like people and writers he really respects, and so he like meets Ernest Hemingway, Gertrude Stein, and Josephine Baker, and Loki and Zelda, playing by Allison. No, is that who I think it is? Wait, no. Oh my god. But like, no joke, I stumbled upon her while watching this movie as Loki's wife, and it's awesome. So basically that's the plot, and oh my god, is this movie magical. I thought it would be this realistic depiction of a slow breakup, but it's more like Owen Wilson finding himself as a writer and as a person. While yes, there is a breakup, it doesn't affect you as much as the times we are like getting all of these ideas and for his book, and it's really cool. I really love how this movie's optimistic moments overweigh the sadder portions because it just makes for the sweet and relaxing experience that only a movie like this could give, and it's nice and refreshing. It's a movie that is just like everything's alright, loosey-goosey, I guess, but nonetheless impactful. While there are some optimistic moments, the more dejected parts, like the scene where Gil and Adriana's relationship gets tested and it's just gone, or his actual relationship falling through with that prick of a father played by that one dude from Psych. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this movie really does give you this experience that feels otherworldly but yet so close. Plastic Beach. Oh my god, nailed you fuckers, suck a butt. Also, this movie is so inviting and comfy. Like, it has this feeling of just going sledding at my old house and then coming back and playing board games and Mario Kart. And it just hits you if you can connect to it. This movie, to me, is one of those movies that can't be fully understood without being fully immersed, like something like Anima or Boy in the World. It's just so heartwarming and feels super refreshing after so many shoehorned and just really horrible rom-coms, especially when it came out. The movie's just got this really nostalgic feel that I feel like the happy moments in the Muppet movie that has a soundtrack of violent femmes and slow pixies that I find to be very entertaining. This aesthetic really adds to Paris because it's so dreamy and can be so magical, and man, can Owen Wilson do some acting in this film. He is so great in this movie. It's just so weird comparing something like Cars or, for fuck's sake, Zoolander to this, really, and it's kind of cool. This feels like the adaptation for Nicolas Cage, but for Owen Wilson. I'm not saying that he didn't act in any good movies at the time. He just, to this day, I still love me some good Zoolander computer besting, but this feels like he was starting a new chapter in his career. Now, if that path will and has been up to opinion, but you can't deny that this is a pretty great introduction to his newest chapter in his career. While I still don't like Marley and Me or Zoolander #2, this movie just fully redeemed Owen Wilson for me. I still don't like a good portion of his newest movies, but like, man, did this feel like something much different. In Woody Allen's habit of giving actors only the pages with their lines, it's just like everyone has their time to shine, and we are just to sit back and enjoy. It's like Owen Wilson is just to sit there and let everyone else around them do their thing, and while we're just there, it feels like it's just so happens that there's a camera there. I mean, like a character like Inez, played by Rachel McAdams, that takes over the screen while Owen Wilson is just sitting there with his socially awkward self, and it's a blast to watch. Also, much credit to Rachel McAdams, she killed it. But yeah, I watched this movie after waking up from a long nap on Netflix, and I found it to be very enjoyable. While Woody Allen is a terrible person, I think this movie deserves credit where it's due. It didn't really create anything new for the romance genre, but it nonetheless was a ton of fun, and I love it very much, and I can't wait for the future rewatches that will surely happen. 10 out of 10.